All right, welcome back to Map It Out.
Yes,
I'm
sir.
Max Preston. This is Alan Roberson. I do got to explain MAP stands for Max and Alan Podcasts. So
Yeah.
we're like, let's not just name it that. Let's go with Map It Out. Let's
I
do
like
that.
that.
And we will have a Map It Out question of the
Yes.
week every week, and we'll get into that here in a second.
Yes.
However, we're getting into our national topics. What a wild card weekend it was,
Yeah, it
honestly.
was.
I mean,
Yeah,
my
it
goodness.
was.
Well, there were some great games. We're just going to go down the road here. Rams 34-31 over the Panthers. That ended up being a lot better of a game than people realized.
Hands down, the biggest surprise of the entire weekend. Like the amount of
100%.
conversations. I remember even around this time last year, and it was even brought up when it came to this past August of, is Bryce Young capable of actually being a franchise quarterback? Is this offense capable of actually providing something? I, along with a lot of people, were thinking Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 50-foot of trash. Whoever's in second place, and then the rest of y'all just kind of figure it out in the NFC South Division. For the Panthers to not only be in the mix, but host a playoff game. Like, I'm seeing Cam Newton come out there with the drum and everything. Like, I'm
Yep.
seeing Carolina sports. Like,
Oh,
I'm seeing it
man.
almost heal
Well,
in real time.
They love their sports. Like,
They do.
I mean, they don't just whatever. Like, they show out. Like, they had fans that were at the Falcons game
Yeah.
watching, saying like, "Are we gonna make the playoffs? Can y'all help us out?" And
Mm-hmm.
they did. They had fans on video that were just like, "Yeah, we're going to
Yeah.
the playoffs." Which is great. That's awesome. And I mean, you saw exactly what Carolina is capable of.
Yeah.
I think maybe they didn't figure it out until late in the season. Like,
Right.
oh, maybe we are, maybe we are good, right?
Yes.
And I get it. Bryce Young, it's tough for him just because he's not the biggest guy. He's about 5'10", maybe 160 pounds, soaking wet or something like that.
Yeah.
He's probably more than that.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's a great leader, though. You can tell he's finally getting that confidence. He's finally just in the pocket, like, hey, I can do this, and if I got to run, I can run too. You know what I mean? So I think he's really developing into a good leader. He's getting calm, and I think really you saw kind of an example of what's to come. Could be wrong, I don't know, but I just think when you play like that against a Rams team that's like one of the top favorites for the Super Bowl, and they do that, they were at home, obviously, they were in Carolina.
Right.
Still, though, that's a great team he played against, and you probably should have won. If Colby
100%.
Parkinson doesn't make a great
100%.
catch for the touchdown, they probably win that game. But
Yeah.
man, he made a great play. Hats off to him. Panthers, I think if they can retain a lot of guys, obviously, just keep getting Bryce Young going, get Ted McMillan more involved. Rico Dowdle, bring him back. Him and Chuba Hubbard together, people in fantasy will be like, oh, man, Rico versus Chuba. But if you're a true football fan, if you're a Panthers fan, you want both those guys. Because both of them can come in
1000%.
and do a great job. Rico is definitely a bruiser. That guy comes in, he's like, you're going to have to hit me. You're going to have
Yes.
to bring me down.
Yeah.
Chuba, better in the passing game, in my opinion, can catch a pass and go for, 12, 15 yards or whatever.
Real quick.
Yeah.
Next 5 years, which running back duo would you rather have, the Panthers or the Lions?
Which running backs would I have?
Yeah, which running back duo would you rather have for the next 5 years, Panthers or Lions? Like for context,
Lions.
Dan Montgomery's still solid, is getting a little bit older in comparison to a Jahmyr Gibbs. Jahmyr Gibbs could
Fair
very well
enough.
be the best running back in football come next season, if not already. But Dowdle had a lot of moments where he saved a lot of folks' fantasy weeks. Same thing with Chuba Hubbard as well.
Just because it's Gibbs, I'm going with the Lions. Just,
All right.
and David Montgomery is, like you said, he's getting older, might get injured a little more.
Yeah.
But, Gibbs is just a proven oh my goodness,
He's
stellar
amazing.
athlete, so
He's
fast. He can catch the ball too. There's two running backs. There might be a few more. Bijan, obviously.
Yeah.
But CMC, and I guess you could include Bijan and Jahmyr Gibbs, need to be paid more than what running backs are usually getting paid.
Yeah.
Because you talk about guys that are just like Gibbs, maybe not so much putting the team on his back because Jared Goff had a pretty good year and he's got a Monroe St. Brown.
Yeah, still top tier receiver. in my
Still
opinion.
got great wide receiver core, and Sam Laporta decides to turn it on every now and then
Yeah.
too. But I think CMC, that dude played quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end, offensive line. What's the Spice Adams meme? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
He's
he did. Yes.
returner, this and
Yeah.
that. That's basically what CMC was doing, and I think Bijan, you could say he was doing that as well too, because he was basically their offense. He was breaking off a 83-yard touchdown every other game. Jahmyr Gibbs still does the same thing, breaks off long runs, does good in the passing game. Those three guys, they got to be paid more than
1000%.
a regular running back.
And to that point, really, hats off to the greatness of a Saquon Barkley and the greatness of a Derrick
Yes.
Henry, especially in Derrick Henry's case. There's a podcast I listened to, and this be very, very brief when we get back to the games. But
Yep.
when it came to all-time great running backs, and matter of fact, I want to ask you, outside of the Adrian Petersons, the LTs, and like all those guys who we know, and if not already are Hall of Famers, solidified, immortalized in Canton, Ohio, who is the next surefire running back Hall of Famer not named Derrick Henry right now?
I think you have to go with Christian McCaffrey.
Yes, true, but even then, from a stat perspective, I can get it, I understand it, but even then, like if you look with him versus the Derrick Henry, I say it's not particularly
So you're
close.
saying,
Granted,
like,
longevity of
true
it.
running back, right?
Well, no,
True running
it can be just everything that you bring to the table as well. From a true running back perspective, I think that position's kind of been long gone by now, if anything.
Sure,
Like they
yeah.
have a couple of guys like Rico Dowdle, like he can catch, but he's been more of that type of.
Yeah.
He is a running back, just not Derrick Henry, obviously.
Yeah, if you're talking about right now, I think you're right because Derrick Henry, what he's done and how long he's been able to do it as bruising of a running back as he is, it's crazy. Like he's definitely a Hall of Famer, 100%. If somebody else who's currently playing right now, I mean, I think you do have to go with Christian McCaffrey. I think he's been playing for a while too, and he's still. I mean, to have the season that he had, or I mean, it's still going, obviously in the playoffs. But if we're talking regular season stats and Hall of Fame and all that. To have the season he had and to know that he's been injured a lot before to come out and do what he did this year, I mean, that was incredible.
If he had
He can
Trent
still do
Williams,
it.
if he had Trent Williams, even one of those years in Carolina, instead of now, safe to say, towards the back half of his career with San Francisco,
Yeah.
I mean, we could
Who
see
knows?
at least another 2-3 years of health. I would imagine. I would hope at least,
Right.
at least another year at the very
yeah.
least. But he's been playing some amazing football. We'll definitely get to. I know as a Cowboys fan, you definitely want to get to that game here in just a little bit. But I mean, the Rams and Panthers was a really, really fun game.
It was.
Hats off to the Rams for continuing to have this type of run. I mean, I don't want to further bury the lead as far as moving forward with the division round, so on and so forth. But the Rams are a very, very talented team with how the NFC is now currently.
They're built to win right now.
They are built to win. They
Panthers
absolutely are.
not so much. That's why we were surprised. So,
Very much. Incredibly.
Like I said, I think Panthers just right there. We'll see what happens next year. Bryce Young's finally figuring it out. And I have to say, I have him in Dynasty, so let's go, baby.
Dare I say, could be the best Saban Alabama quarterback that he's had. Could go down as that. Like I know who else is in the mix, but
I'd have to think more about that one.
Yeah,
I'd have to think a lot more about that one. That you could be right.
Yeah,
you could be right.
I mean, it's either him or the other guy. And look, again, you're a Cowboys guy, but look, even as somebody who's not a Cowboys guy.
Speaking of Dynasty, I also got Jalen Milroe waiting
It's not impossible.
on the bench, man, waiting for him to do something with the Seahawks.
like it.
Sam Darnold, we'll talk about him in a second, but
Yeah.
Sam Darnold doing good for the Seahawks. But you're
Oh,
talking
yes.
about Alabama quarterbacks.
I like him.
I need it. Bryce Young playing good right now. I need to see Jalen Milroe take the field at some point, just because I even drafted him kind of a little bit higher than you probably should, just because I love the rushing upside.
Yes.
And if you watch him throw, he throws good sometimes.
the
I
arm-
get that sometimes he's inaccurate, sometimes he
Yeah.
gets pressured, and it is what it is. But that dude's a big dude. He can run the ball. Just develop him as a passer. I think he's going to be good someday.
If you have a receiver like JSN, I think JSN with the breakout year that he had this year, could turn into that quarterback proof. Almost a la a Justin Jefferson, DeAndre Hopkins back with the Texans. Like regardless of who's there, like got it done with Sam Darnold, Jalen Milroe. The arm strength is there.
Mm-hmm.
If you have somebody as agile as the JSN, I think they'll be just fine. I think so.
100%. So yeah, like we were saying, Panthers look good. Rams moving on though. Bears and Packers.
Yeah.
Cinema.
Yeah.
Absolute cinema. Where's the meme when you need it? Absolute cinema.
It was a perfect game.
It's just you're thinking like, okay, the Packers got it. Like it's over. It's just like the Packers got the best of the Bears this time, whatever. However, here comes Caleb Williams out of the depths in the second half. And he's done it. I mean, the last 5-6 weeks it feels like they're like, all right, we'll give you 21 points to start. Watch us in the second half. That's basically what happened. They were down 21-3, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it was 21-3. I believe it was 21-6 at half.
21-6
if I remember correctly.
And still, that's not where you want to be going into the second half.
Right.
Obviously.
Right.
Obviously. They come out completely different team in the second half. The Bears fans at halftime are just like, there's a video of this too. It's like, oh my gosh. Like,
Yeah.
Then by the end of the fourth quarter, it's just like, man, we love our team. We can do no wrong.
Yeah,
Caleb
man.
Williams is it. He's the guy. Ben Johnson, thank you so much,
Oh,
my
yes.
guy. Oh my gosh, like, and you know, so many people going back and clowning people that were saying like, oh, thank goodness we didn't hire Ben Johnson. Thank goodness he's not our coach.
My
Thank goodness,
word.
blah blah blah. Everybody's just like, I got receipts.
Yes.
He's great. We just, and you know, the thing is, like, you know, I'm not taking anything away from the Bears. Like, this is a great win. This is 100%. It felt like it was also their Super Bowl at the same time, you know, and I don't want, that's not an insult to Bears fans. That is a huge win for a Bears team that hasn't seen success like this in a little while. To beat your rival in the playoffs like that in front of your home crowd, that's huge. I mean, I would treat that like a Super Bowl. It's like if the Cowboys beat the Eagles for me in the playoffs at some point. It's like, that's it. Like, and even in the regular season when the Cowboys came back and beat the Eagles like that, I was like, I'm good. I don't need to see anything else because we're not making the playoffs. And
you got to find those wins.
For me.
Yeah, you got to find those wins however you may have them. You know what I mean? There's a stat I think I had seen though that I think this was the first time that the Bears beat the Packers in a playoff game. I think since the 40s. I could be wrong, but it was at least a good couple decades since the last Bears win over the Packers in a playoff game. So
I mean that's huge, obviously, and you know you saw the handshake at the end of the game.
I love it. I'm all for it. I'm all for it.
Despite the game, that might have been the best moment.
It was because I remember that first game.
Bye.
I remember that exchange with the floor and Johnson after the first time around, and it was very much like there was some spice to it. You know what I mean?
100%. Because you know there's a clip where it's just like, you know, it turns into like an edit, and it's something along the lines of like, you know, what was, you know, how did this feel, or what was the handshake like that, blah blah blah, and it's just Ben Johnson saying, it's a rivalry, and just cuts off, and it's like, all right, playing Bears highlights and stuff like that. And like, you know, Bears fans are so happy because he gets it. He understands. It's a rivalry, and it's in the playoffs too. You know what? Not forget what happens next. Obviously, you want to keep winning, but like this is what Bears fans needed. This is what Bears fans wanted to see. You wanted to see not only a playoff win, but a playoff win against your rival, your biggest rival, the rival you hate the most, and just take it and run with it. You know what I mean? And come back like that too.
The only thing that would have made it sweeter is if it was in Lambeau Field. I mean, being there at Soldier Field, like Chicago, like the Chicago fans are some of the most passionate that we have in sports, regardless. But like if you're able to do that on the road, take that heart, take that energy from the opponent, great. But that was a great moment. I have good friends who were Bears fans. That place was amazing.
Bears fans might tell you different. They may be like, no, man, they did it in front of us. We're happy to see it. We love it. You know what 100%. I mean? And so, I mean, dude, what a game. Like that could have arguably, looking at the rest of the games, if I wasn't a Cowboys fan, I'd probably say that was the best moment of the wild card week.
I think so. I think it really
was. What I'm going to say about the Eagles. So, but
for sure.
I mean, as a sports fan, I got to say that was the best.
Like from a sports fan's perspective, you just want to see the best game.
That was it.
Rams Panthers definitely had that mantle at that point, but after the end of that Bears and Packers game, I think, and even with regardless of the games to come, that was the greatest just game in general from this past week.
100%. Oh, my goodness. Just the atmosphere and how they were able to come back. I'm just like, I'll remember that one for a while.
And another guy that some folks were, for whatever reason, still not really buying into Caleb Williams. I think Caleb Williams has always really been that type of guy. Yeah. This has been one of the better teams, and not just one of the better teams from a personnel standpoint, but you truly have not only a great offensive play caller, but more chemistry, considering the Eberflus era and all the inefficiencies and inadequacies in the past 3 to 5 years, now coming together with somebody who is offense-centric, who has the right type of idea that he wants to have with his personnel.
Yes.
Similar point as far as the sky being the limit. The sky truly is the limit for the Chicago Bears moving forward.
If they play the way they did.
Yeah.
I mean, and if they continue to not let their back get against the wall like that, and just come back from whatever deficit. Next week, they're going to come back from 35 points down. For my next trick, 42 points down. For my next trick in the Super Bowl, we're going to come back from 50 points down.
Man.
Like, you know what I mean?
Yes,
Like,
yes.
it's just what it's been. Like, it doesn't matter how much we're down. We're coming back. We'll give
100%.
you 28 points. We're going to do it.
I love it.
What a team they've become. And, you know, when they lost the Cowboys earlier in the season, you're kind of like, oh, Cowboys, what are y'all doing? Now you're kind of like, oh, I get it.
Yeah.
And speaking of, like, being connected with the Cowboys, that loss that they handed the Packers, they already had the 12th pick, the Cowboys, but they have the 20th pick because the
Nice.
Packers lost because of this trade of the Micah Parsons trade. So we got 12 and 20. It could have been 24.
Yeah.
Could have been 23, 26. It's 20 now, which is great. Will the Cowboys do anything with it? I don't know. Who knows?
You know, we'll get to that here in a second.
Yeah.
But you know,
Yeah.
I would love to think that
That
even
was huge for Cowboys fans.
for sure. Like
Yeah.
I would have loved to have thought that Jerry had at least one cigar in his house after watching that game. at least one cigar. Him and Steven
He's
just
like,
kicking it. Just
Hey guys, I made a decent enough trade, right?
Yeah,
it was Micah Parsons. but
legit.
Who cares, right?
After
You know?
everything that has been from the start of the season to now, if you were to say, hey, we're going to trade away our should have been franchise edge rusher, and you still come up with two really solid first round picks.
Yep.
Hey man, I'm not gonna say it's close to the Nico Harrison of it all, but things could have been a whole heck of a lot worse.
So we're going to turn that number 12 probably into something like an edge rusher,
Yeah.
maybe, or just a defensive player.
Maybe a Micah
They're
Parsons
both-
type.
They better
Maybe.
both be defensive picks. That's all I'm
Yes.
saying.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, our offense, I mean, there's some questions in the offense, sure.
Yeah.
But, I mean, the offense was not the problem this
Right.
year. Obviously, those are going to be two defensive picks right there, I think. They're going
like it.
they're going to take best available defensively, probably defensive back and an edge rusher, whatever it might be.
like it.
Anyway, I love all the side topics. This is great.
I'm with you.
We got to move on. So Bills, Jaguars, you know, I don't hate the Bills at all. Don't hate them at all. I was rooting so hard for Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah.
I just love Trevor Lawrence. He's such a good dude.
Yeah.
He's so loyal to Jacksonville right now. You know, Duval loves him. And you felt bad that he came up just short through that pick at the end. I will say, I felt like the defender was grabbing the hips there a little bit on that throw.
But that's
and it just
playoff
tipped
football
it.
as well.
It is. You got to let him play.
Yeah.
So I get it. 100% tipped up and intercepted.
Shout
Bills
out to
win.
Liam Cohen as well.
Yeah.
First time head coach in this mix. I like I'm sure a lot of people did not think highly of the Jags at
Yeah.
all when it came to that division or even
Yeah.
the hierarchy of the AFC. But to be, you know, just a couple of plays away from beating the team that, you know, I'll say this, full transparency. Like those who have seen me, those who have heard me, obviously we've talked plenty of times on air, off air. I'm one of the bigger Lamar Jackson guys that I know.
Fair enough.
So to
I love him too.
to see Josh Allen literally get carried on a 4th and inches tush push quarterback sneak.
Offensive lineman just
And look, props to him. Look, the ugly wins are still the wins.
Yep.
They still have a chance to win a championship. And also, as a Lamar Jackson fan, I got to sit there and shut up should the Buffalo Bills hoist that Lombardi trophy come top of February.
and who knows, right? I mean,
Maybe.
my goodness.
Maybe.
This playoffs this year, it's kind of like who knows.
Yeah.
Honestly, like it's just it is very up in the air.
It is.
at this point.
It absolutely is.
You know, obviously the Chiefs didn't make it, so if the Chiefs made it, you'd be like, all right, I'm taking the Chiefs until they prove otherwise. But they're not in, and neither are the Ravens. Sadly, enough because you saw what happened to the Steelers. We'll get that here in a second.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's just the Bills might be, in my opinion, looking at all the teams in it, might be the most. Or are I think the most playoff experienced team.
Yeah.
That have players that are experienced. Because I mean, you could look at the Patriots and be like, well, obviously Tom Brady and all that. But I mean, it's not Tom Brady anymore.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think right now, like it's. I mean, Bills are just very experienced, and they're the 6th seed, which
And
is crazy.
especially for quarterbacks not named Matthew Stafford, Josh Allen is the guy. And I think even including Matt Stafford, I think Josh Allen might be the most talented quarterback, just full stop, out of the quarterbacks
One
remaining.
has a Super Bowl, one doesn't. Though.
That is true. That is very true. That is so.
saying.
So again,
But
I
still.
want to see it.
Yeah.
I'll believe all the Josh Allen hubbub when I see it. I'm one of those guys that I'll believe it once the last piece of confetti falls at Levi Stadium here in a couple of weeks. So we'll see what happens.
So yeah, good win for the Bills. I mean, obviously, like you said, you know, Josh Allen figured it out at the end of the day. I do got a funny thing about their divisional matchup coming up here in a second.
Gotcha.
Here we go.
Yes,
Lord.
And I'll just say I'm going to shut up for a second.
Lord.
This is all you right here now.
Here's the thing, Lord. Cowboys season ended earlier. However, what a blessing
Yeah, man.
it was
Yeah,
to
man.
see a just complete rookie, complete just obliterated defense of the 49ers still find a way
Oh, yes.
on the road in the most hostile, one of the most hostile
No,
stadiums you
by
could probably
far
find.
the most
Probably
hostile.
the most
By
hostile
far.
stadium you could find. And the thing is, like, look, I won't spend my days just hating on a team. I won't spend my days just being a hater.
Right.
However, when you're a Cowboys fan and you got kids at an elementary school punching your kids, or punching your players, punching your guys on punching bags, instead of learning in the classroom, you got them in the
sir.
hallway doing that.
Yes, sir.
And all you, even when you're clearly better than the Cowboys one year, all you can focus on is the Cowboys. You're talking about the Cowboys.
Yep.
Here's the thing. You got what you had coming. You got what you had coming. And I have no
crazy.
problem saying that, man.
That's
because
crazy.
like the thing is, like, just focusing on the Cowboys, who cares? You guys are a great team. I have no problem admitting that. You guys had the pieces. You had what you needed to do to win, to make a run, to defend your Super Bowl title. And yet, to like rookie defensive linemen for the 49ers. Now, don't get me wrong, their offense pretty much full strength.
Yeah.
So they were fine on offense. But the defense, you didn't really have an excuse on that one.
And even though the offensive side of things, you're full strength, at least for a little bit. Of course, most speedy of recoveries for George Kittle with the Achilles of it all. But you still have CMC. You still have Brock Purdy. Jawan Jennings with a passing touchdown blows my mind. But again, Kyle Shanahan, one of the better premier minds, not just in football, but I think in all of sports. I mean, look, man.
Because, you talk about, so the coach of the year goes to, like, I don't know, a glamorous team that got a lot of wins and, like, kind of, if you want to really study and give a down to the nitty gritty, just coach of the year, it should be Shanahan. I mean, because I mean, what he did with the team that he had, and his quarterback was missing half the year. It was kind of like, am I going to have Mac Jones or going to have Brock Purdy? And also, my defensive line is depleted.
Yeah, Nick Bosa's been out. Fred Warner might come back, but I wouldn't push it.
Millions of dollars.
Yeah, exactly.
And just running certain guys out there on defense throughout the year. It's like, that's like, if you actually took the time to vote and study it, that's coach of the year right there.
I like that.
Because and you get a win like that over the Eagles on the road. Like I said, most hostile stadium in sports, most likely. And you get a win like that, that's coach of the year. Whether they win the Super Bowl or not, that's coach of the year. I mean,
I like it.
Because
I like it. I'm not mad at that.
You know what? Whoever they vote for or whatever, mine's Kyle Shanahan. Like, that's just easy.
And look, I'll say this. I was told, and look, I love all of my Eagles friends, all those who I've met here in the past couple of years, those who I've known for my entire life. I was told in a lot of playoff situations, best quarterback should be able to win the game. If you were to have told me that the best quarterback was Brock Purdy, though, the literal last pick of his respective NFL draft, versus someone who I've been told is a top 10 guy.
Best Mr. Irrelevant of all time.
Got it.
And it won't ever be close.
Like he cannot win a championship at any point in his career, just from the skill set, from the talent. Like, granted, should he be in another situation outside of San Francisco? Who knows? Yeah. But you have like the same thing that Eagles fans tell me as far as, well, you have Saquon Barkley. You have a great offensive line. You have this great defense, so on and so forth. Hey, man, I've always been told, hey, you only deal with the hands you've been dealt. You play the hand that you've been dealt. Brock Purdy has been dealt one of the best. Like we've said it, the next should be Hall of Fame running back in Christian McCaffrey. Yep. The greatest left tackle this side of, I forget the guy's name who just passed away, my apologies, with the Cowboys. Like, one of the best offensive linemen that we've seen, certainly, better yet, the best offensive lineman in this generation in Trent Williams. One of the best offensive minds. Like, you have these things in place, you still got to go out there and get it done. Yeah,
exactly.
And to add in again, like you said, the injuries that have been put with this team. We haven't seen Fred Warner in God knows how many weeks and months. We haven't seen, I haven't seen Nick Bosa since at least Halloween time. Like, we're firmly in 2026. I haven't seen Nick Bosa outside of playing Madden 26 on my Xbox. And for them to be one step closer to not only winning the NFC, but to get to the Super Bowl in your home stadium. We haven't seen that since the Tampa Bay Buccaneers mopping the floor with the Kansas City Chiefs just a couple of years ago. It's not impossible.
Yeah.
But to get through who a lot of people said was the team to beat in the NFC.
Mm-hmm.
Similar thing with the AFC where it's truly a mixed bag. I could not tell you for the life of me who is going to represent the NFC in a couple of weeks. It could be the Rams. It could be who we just talked about just now with the 49ers.
Yeah.
I don't know. I truly don't know.
Who knows, right? And I mean, like that's what's crazy about this playoffs is I mean, we got like obviously a favorite went out, the Eagles.
Yeah.
I mean, a favorite almost went out, the Rams. I mean,
Yes.
the Panthers almost did that. I mean, it's just looking up and down. It's like we'll finish out the rest of these games, But I mean, it's a crazy, fun, incredible playoffs right now, and these games were awesome. And also, side note, I gotta say, Brock Purdy, Mr. Irrelevant. They did a Uber Eats commercial with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers guy several years ago.
Yeah,
it was Mr. Irrelevant, and he did a commercial himself. I'm like, forget that guy. Brock Purdy needs to be on that commercial. He needs to be the poster child of Mr. Irrelevant because there will never be another. The fact that he was Mr. Irrelevant when you saw what he did at Iowa State. That doesn't make sense to me because he was a great player. Maybe it was just his size, but I mean, Bryce Young's 5'10", and like I said, 160 pounds, soaking wet, and he went first overall. Exactly. So I mean, like what you saw Brock Purdy do, him being Mr. Relevant, you're seeing exactly what he deserves because he was a great player at Iowa State, and now he's he was hurt for a lot of the year, obviously, but I mean, he got his bag and he's doing what he's got to do.
He's deserving of it. I was rather hesitant of him over the past couple of years. Similar thing of. Wanting to reach for, is Brock Purdy an MVP? Is Brock Purdy a top 5 quarterback?
He was close. Man,
very
close. It's just that Ravens game last year that completely took him out because if he wins that game, he's probably MVP.
100%.
But, obviously, Ravens.
and something that I just found out about rather recently, we share the same birthday, Brock Purdy and I.
Really?
Yeah, December 27th, I believe he is 99, 98, 99. I'm 96. So, I mean, you know what? Yeah, now I can't hate on Brock Purdy. Now there's no way I can hate on him anymore.
Of course
you know what I mean? Yeah, shout out to him again. That was another really, really fun game to see.
I don't think he's a hateable guy, honestly, I don't think at all. I feel like even though he does play for the 49ers, I mean, he could play for the Eagles. So, I mean, like
good dude. Really good dude. Absolutely.
So the last two games kind of dropped off a little bit, in my opinion. Like those first 4 games,
1,000%.
phenomenal. Patriots and Chargers was still a pretty, it was a defensive, close enough game, but kind of got away at the end there a little bit. I feel bad for Justin Herbert. That guy, half his offensive line was just injured for most of the year. Yeah. Joe Alt's a phenomenal offensive 100%. Lineman. They need him 100%. And, people are going to say like, oh, Justin Herbert, king of hypotheticals or just blah, blah. He's a great player. He is a phenomenal player. Don't get me wrong. I'm going to defend Justin Herbert because he's a great player. He really is. The offensive line was hurt.
Amari Hampton, as a fantasy manager of his, he only played maybe 5 games this whole season. He got hurt.
He didn't know who they were trotting out as a running back on the field half the time. If he stays healthy, I think they do a lot better.
Yeah.
I just, to me, I think people need to stop clowning Justin Herbert because he's a good player. It's just when you're running out offensive linemen that just are like, here you go. You get a sack. You get a sack. You get a sack. I mean, he's snapping the ball and he's fighting for his life immediately. You know what I mean? And like as a quarterback, you just can't play like that. I mean, unless you're Joe Burrow, I guess. But
if we're talking about hypotheticals, that's a whole nother thing. Here's the only thing that I'll say about this game. Drake May certainly exceeded every expectation that I've had with the Patriots, and who knows as far as what they're able to do over the next couple of weeks.
Taking nothing away from the Patriots at all.
I did see a stat though. Justin Herbert, Juwan Jennings, same number of career postseason passing touchdowns. Like, look. Again, I'm not going to talk against Justin Herbert more than I already have in the past. But that's a crazy stat to read off.
I get it.
But we'll see what happens. They have some coaching changes coming up.
When you put it that way, okay. But I mean, like, again, the offensive line thing was definitely a huge deal this year in that game, and you could just tell he was fighting for his life the entire game, and he's just like, dude, what can I do, right? You know what I mean?
That's true.
So I get it. I still think he's a talented player. He's a good player. I think he's just got to have his O-line healthy, and maybe at some point, he can break through. We'll see.
I think so.
Again, Drake May, MVP this year.
I would also say Stafford personally. May's been playing great. It's just it's something for not only the stats of it all, but it's just something for. And I'm not a voter, but the it's something with the subconscious of you haven't seen a great Patriots quarterback since obviously that other guy that's been there for the past 20 plus
What's that
some odd
guy's
years.
name?
Yeah, that one
Help
dude.
me,
You know what I
out.
mean?
Yeah.
And so I think for some people, I can only imagine how much of an adjustment it may be to see, oh, the Patriots are good again.
Yeah.
Is this really worth it, or could this be a 1 year wonder type of situation? I mean, time will tell, of course. I think Drake May has had a phenomenal season, but I personally think if I did have a vote, I give it to Matt Stafford.
We were kind of talking about how that Rams and Falcons game. Remember that?
Yeah.
Kind of that, me and like a fantasy group chat that I have.
Yeah.
We were kind of talking about how that might have been a deciding factor. And since they lost that game, it was kind of like, maybe Drake May is the MVP.
Maybe.
I don't know. So, I mean, don't get me wrong. Either way, I'm fine. I think to have Matt Stafford finally be an All-Pro, he deserved an All-Pro at some point because he's been, I mean, his career's been incredible. He's going to probably be a quarterback that has, gets in the Hall of Fame and has, like, the least amount of All-Pros, obviously, and the least amount of, like, Pro Bowls, too, maybe, too. I don't know. But, I mean, just because you look at his stats and his numbers and the fact that he didn't get in the Pro Bowl a ton of times and didn't get an All-Pro season, if he gets MVP on top of it, that's great. Love it. Love Matthew Stafford. Love him 100%. They're talking more about Drake May, because he had a great year. I think either way, it's fine. But I think I'm going to say Drake May gets it. I would like to see Stafford get it. I think either way, doesn't bother me at all. They're both very deserving. Played great. Drake May has time to get one too. Yeah. So if Stafford gets, I'm like, okay, great. Like he can retire happy, fully accomplished, and that's awesome. We'll see.
And, as a segue getting into the last game, if you were to say who is a more surefire first ballot Hall of Famer, Matthew Stafford or Aaron Rodgers? Who's getting into Canton first?
That's awesome.
Like if they both retired after this season, and nothing's been official as far as Aaron Rodgers, but I've heard a lot of that kind of group of the Rodgers and Stafford. Like you'll throw Phillip Rivers into the mix, or Drew Brees into the mix, like all of those outside of Rivers, of course, having the one championship, at least MVP consideration. Of course, Rodgers with at least 4 or 5 MVPs. So I can understand having that as part of the first ballot case of it all, but. It's been more of a conversation than I would personally like, and I've been an admirer of Aaron Rodgers as a quarterback throughout his career, minus the Jersey days a couple of years ago. So, but what do you think?
I think that's pretty obvious to me. I think it's Aaron Rodgers just because his accolades are definitely a lot more there than Stafford.
Yeah.
Stafford's still gonna be a Hall of Famer, and if you don't think he's a Hall of Famer, you're crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, Aaron Rodgers right now is probably definitely the more obvious choice for the Hall of Fame. And if you look at those touchdown interception ratios throughout the years, some of the best of all time.
Absolutely.
Some of those years.
Absolutely.
The one year where he had I think was it 28 and 2.
Yeah.
I was like, how do you do that?
Now,
especially with his style of play where he'll just sling it sometimes. Like you only threw 2 interceptions. That's crazy. And those ratios definitely set him apart from a lot of quarterbacks.
Now, would a second championship alter anything as far as Matthew Stafford's chance for the Hall of Fame? Yeah.
Maybe.
Okay.
I just think how many MVPs did Rodgers win? What was it?
I believe he had 5.
Did he have 5?
Most recent one was probably back in 2021, if I remember correctly.
We got a computer. Let's look it up. Aaron Rodgers MVPs.
Because he is one of the more 4 MVPs. Yes.
So that alone sets him apart from Stafford. So I mean, you get the MVP 4 times, and he's also got several All Pros and Pro Bowls.
I think up until recently he had the best passer rating until Lamar Jackson had that this past season as well. So I mean, he is one of the more efficient quarterbacks that we've ever seen. Matthew Stafford, and I think for lack of a better word, I don't think people are having the sympathy card for him because of his time with the Detroit Lions. Because I mean, if you have one of the 3 greatest receivers I've ever seen in Calvin Johnson, I would imagine if nothing else, you're going to have the stats to kind of back up your claim as being a credible quarterback. Sure. I do kind of wonder, though, if there is a role reversal and if Stafford was the one behind Brett Favre and to have the experiences with the Devontae Adams, with the Randall Cobb, Jordy Nelson, versus I do think Aaron Rodgers can still get something done with the Calvin Johnson, but it's always that thing in the back of people's minds of if things changed a little bit, if the Lions weren't, I don't know just how cheap that they were, but they were a team that went 0-16 at one point. So you're certainly not spending tens of millions to bring in the best personnel around you.
100%. Yeah, I mean, what Stafford did turning around the Lions was crazy.
Yeah,
I mean, it was unreal.
He's one of those guys that you might not have all the numbers but from an impact perspective, from
his
like
numbers
what it is.
were great too because he's constantly with the quickest, youngest to a certain amount of passing yards. And I just think he just never had the Pro Bowls. He never had the All Pros. He never had the MVPs. I mean, obviously only one person got MVP, so you're not just going to rack up a bunch of MVPs. But, like, I think, he just – those accolades don't show for Stafford, but you got to look – like I said about the Coach of the Year thing, you got to look deeper into Stafford and what he did in his career and what he accomplished. Clear Hall of Famer. If he wins a second ring – I mean, there's no doubt that he should be a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think it's in question at all. I think he's a Hall of Famer 100% just because of everything that he accomplished. Just because he didn't make a ton of Pro Bowls, didn't make an All Pro just yet. He will this year, but I think you have to look deeper at his career, what he did with the Lions, and then what he proceeds to do with the Rams once he leaves the Lions. He's a Hall of Famer easy. But if you're asking Aaron Rodgers and Matthew Stafford, I think most people will tell you, obviously, Aaron Rodgers.
Now, what I will say is if we're going off of what we saw this past Monday night, I don't know if Matt Stafford is going to have a worse potential retirement game than what Aaron Rodgers did this past Monday against the Texans. To not score one time for your special teams to be the one thing that was in your favor this past Monday, and it meant nothing in hindsight concerning the final score. I believe 30-6 in favor of the Texans. I mean, it's been an unfortunate trend when it comes to quarterbacks on the way out the door. I don't remember the last quarterback that was clearly on their way out the door that just lit the world on fire. Like Brady wasn't that great on his way out. Like he was certainly in a good position. I mean, he was close and conveniently enough lost to the eventual champion Rams that year. I believe it was 2021, 2022. I mean, I'm remembering just how weird of a game it was for a Drew Brees. You know, Peyton Manning, despite winning a championship, the worst season that he's had outside of his rookie year with the Colts. You know what I mean? Like, it's an unfortunate trend that if that was the last that we've seen of Aaron Rodgers, it further chalks up Father Time just beating the brakes off of these, soon-to-be Hall of Fame, but nonetheless very old quarterbacks in playing a sport like professional football.
Well, even the side note on that, even talking about Texas Tech and Oregon, Aaron Morton going out that way, that was sad too. Like you've seen, like you said, you made a point. You've seen a lot of that. Seeing Aaron Morton go out like that, and it hurts me because I covered him at Eastland when he was over there. He was a Maverick.
That's really cool.
Maverick, sure. He was in his high school career and he's a 5-star recruiter. So I mean, to see him kind of go out that way, I don't know what his next plans are, but I mean. That was sad, and you're right. It does happen that way sometimes. You just go out on a bad note. It's kind of like John Cena, He's like, you know what? I'm gonna tap out. So, like, I mean, sometimes it's just how it is. Like, it's a clear sign of it's time to hang it up. You know what I mean? It's time. It's done. Like your time's done. Whatever's next for you, it's time to move on.
Not just Rodgers, Mike Tomlin as well. Like that came out just recently as well that he was stepping down.
Even Harbaugh
from that coach. Yeah, like it's that true changing of the guard of we've seen these guys. We've literally grown up seeing Tomlin, seeing Harbaugh, seeing Rodgers, seeing Stafford, like seeing these guys clearly on the way out. It's fading away like in real time. So it was
like already
really crazy
faded
to see.
away, but it's like definitely getting to the very, very end because Phillip Rivers coming back. I was like, oh my gosh,
man.
It's making a return. But he's done. Aaron Rodgers probably done. Tom Brady's been done.
Yeah,
Drew Brees has been done. Who else? Ben Roethlisberger. Just guys like that. We saw what a quarterback league we saw growing up. Honestly,
it was amazing.
We were
spoiled.
We were blessed to see that.
We had 100%. A lot of great guys.
All those quarterbacks worthy of winning a Super Bowl, but only one of them could win a Super Bowl every year, and it was mostly Tom Brady, I guess you could say.
Absolutely.
But yeah, like you said, Rodgers goes out on a bad note. Houston Texans, oh my goodness, 30-6. And you talk about, we'll talk about the Broncos because they didn't play. Obviously, they had the bye. But you talk about a defense that is trying to win championships. Defense wins championships. It
Yes.
does. You got to have an offense,
Yes.
obviously.
Yes.
But I mean, that is a defense that is, oh my, I mean,
Yeah.
it is. They are suffocating. And they are, I mean, I don't want to say carrying, but man, they are giving their offense every chance most games.
CJ hasn't been that great throughout this entire season. It's been rather recent that this offense was really able to get to some form of consistency, and you definitely needed that.
You see him not making plays, I should say, but like, you see him doing stuff where you're kind of like, what's going on? Like the snap thing, making throws where you're like, where are you throwing? Like, he had the concussion, so maybe he's still feeling a little bit of that. I don't know. But he's getting back into that.
I'll say this for sure. Both defenses between Houston and Denver, incredibly talented. PS2, Reign DPOY, best corner in all of football. Derek Stingley, second best corner in all of football, I will say, as of right now. So I think, honestly, the real question is, who is going to be more uncomfortable at the quarterback spot? And at the very least, we've seen C.J. Stroud do it before.
Yes.
I'm curious as to what Bo Nix is capable.
He can make plays. I gotta say, Sheldon Rankins, though. You're a defensive lineman. Come on.
Yes.
That's your dream right
100%.
there. And we saw it live, and we were just like, oh, he's picking the ball. Let's go. Like,
The greatest moment.
Sheldon, watching the close-up cam of him running the end zone, I was like, yes, you take it into the end zone, big man. You deserve that because he's a stud, man. He deserves that.
There's this play that still haunts me to this very day. I'm playing at West Texas A&M. We were playing Midwestern State at the time. They were, if I remember correctly, they were ranked. I just don't know how high that they were. But they came to Kimbrough one of the last years there at Kimbrough Stadium. And this was one of the weeks where they implemented a cover 8 defense. Cover 8, long story short, I'm playing interior line D-tackle at the time. And so I'm giving a little bit of a push, but then I'm dropping back into coverage. So this was late in the game. This was definitely within maybe 90 seconds to 2 minutes of the game here. And I'm dropping back. I'm in coverage. They made the call, so like my eyes got real big of like, all right, cool. Surely they're not gonna throw my direction, but if they did, we gotta lock in. We gotta focus up on this. I give a push. I'm dropping back into coverage. I'm seeing the ball. The way that it truly grazed the top of my helmet. But something, and I don't know if it was just the adrenaline of it or what, I was a little bit too slow with the processing of it. Because again, I'm thinking, surely they're not going to throw to a 6'4", 300-plus pound defensive lineman to try and make a play. But sure enough, if I would have just raised my arms the slightest bit, I would have came up with the single greatest highlight that I've ever had in my entire life. For context, I have been washed. It will be close to 10 years since the last time I put on a helmet and shoulder pads. But that moment right there, boy, when I saw Sheldon Rankins, I'm thinking to myself, that could have been me. That should have been me. Better yet,
should have been me. I just didn't raise my hands.
Look, we still won the game. It was truly one of the greater times being there with WT. But like, I'm just thinking every time I see a big man pick, a big man, return. Like I remember the Dan Connolly kick return for the Patriots years ago. Like I'm thinking like, dog, that
was great.
There is not a single moment in sports greater, truly, than a big man doing skill position things.
Vince Wilfork, one of the best of all time.
Hands down.
So fun to watch him just pick up a ball.
Yes.
They're like the first time he did it, I think, was it Chris Collinsworth that was like commenting on it or something like that, saying something like, at some point he was a fullback in high school.
Oh yes. Yes. I was a tight end. I had a lot of moments of, hey, we need you on this drag route. We need you on this invert post. You need to be a ball player. Yeah. So I'm thinking, I'm capable of being a ball player.
There we go. Stiff arm.
Yeah, just a split second too late there. But I mean, to that point with the Texans, they are probably my favorite defense remaining in these NFL playoffs. Like, can they get it done? Yeah. It is certainly in the cards. Like that matchup in particular. Again, I know that Bo Nix has made some really solid plays throughout the season. Defense has been they've been holding their end of things more so than most, but. Who knows? Whoever gets uncomfortable first, I think will lose that game. And so again, we've seen CJ Stroud do it before. Bo Nix, I got to see it to believe it. I've been around a lot of Broncos fans. Shout out to Lance Larnard. Shout out to my boss, Cal Hall. Happy retirement to you. Look,
Hey,
man.
nice, yeah.
I'm hopeful. I'm
Yeah.
hopeful for, at the very least, another tremendous game this upcoming
Oh,
weekend.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
So.
Oh, man, we got a lot of great games this weekend. It's going to be awesome.
Yes.
Again, shout out Texans. They deserve their flowers. They were the one blowout. I mean, Patriots kind of ran away with it, but they were a true blowout. I mean, that one was also kind of at the end, too. It was really close most of the game, but the Texans definitely ran away with it, so good for them. Like I said, defense looking great, looking awesome. We'll just run through what the divisional matchups are real quick because we got a segment coming up where we'll talk about odds in fantasy. We'll get our picks. We'll talk about it here in a second. We'll get to that. But yeah, let's run through what the divisional matchups are. So Bills at Broncos, Saturday 3:30 on CBS. Then we got 49ers, Seahawks. 49ers at Seahawks on Fox at 7 o'clock Saturday. Then on Sunday, Texans going to New England.
Okay,
the Patriots.
pardon me. Yeah, I got that matchup mixed up there.
No, you're good. Yeah. That's Sunday at 2 o'clock, Texans and Patriots. And then Rams and Bears Sunday, 5:30. That'll be the NBC game. So I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, save your thoughts. We'll get to it here in a second. We'll definitely get to it here in a second. We got to get to our map it out. Question of the week.
We do.
We got to get to it. So I think y'all understand or know what our map it out topic of the week is.
Yes, to set it up a
Dallas
little bit more.
Cowboys.
We spoke a little bit about this. Like this will be a little bit more of a reoccurring thing with this show here. We'll have a certain prompt or a certain question as far as how can we fix something in the world of sports? How can we go about, for example, like some things in the back of my mind that we can talk about.
Situation.
Yeah, like I'm sure at some point we'll probably have something of how we can fix NBA All-Star break. How can we fix the college football playoff? How can we fix this? Or how would you have gone about this situation?
We'll get into the portal next week.
Yes, we will. But I think it's only right, considering the first time for the Map It Out podcast. And we've spoken about this on a number of occasions, and I think now is as good a time as any to really get into, Max Preston, map out how you would fix the Dallas Cowboys.
So here's the deal. We got to start with a quote that we saw from Jerry even just last week. My goal in life is to retire as the owner that won the most Super Bowls. That's my goal, to be retired in the NFL as the owner that won the most Super Bowls. We've got 3. I've got work to do. Yeah, you think? You think?
Yeah.
So here's the deal. Kraft has 6.
Yep.
So here's the thing. If you want to tie him, I think you have to win the next 3, Jerry. If you want to have the most, you got to win the next 4. Because here's the thing. For one thing, age not really on Jerry's side right now.
Yeah.
And, I'm not trying to be rude, but I mean, he's even said it himself. Father Time coming through on Jerry, right now. So I would say you don't got I don't know if you've got 10 years or 15 years to win 4 Super Bowls, even 3. I think you got to win the next 3. You got to win the next 4 if you want to make that happen. Okay. I like the goal. Or shoot for the stars, 100%. But the odds of that are, sorry, Jerry. I don't know.
Tough.
It's looking tough.
It's tough.
It's looking really rough. If you do that as a Cowboys fan, I'm elated. I'm so happy. But if you want my honest opinion, I don't think it's happening. Here's the deal. As the team, you see teams making moves, right? Hiring head coaches. Yeah. Hiring a coaching staff, making moves necessary. As an owner, side note, stop being the GM.
Yes.
Hire a GM.
Yes.
Just stop being the GM. Hire a GM. I'll say it 1,000 times, but I'll stop right there. That's one thing. So, need a GM. You see him hire coaches, right, that just do what he says. Yeah. Right? You're not getting the top coaches
we can be honest. There have been some yes men that have been rolling through there post Jimmy Johnson there. I mean, minus Bill Parcells. Bill Parcells might have been one of the last coaches to truly have that level of pushback. You know what I mean? But Jason Garrett, with every bit of respect, because he does a pretty solid job as a broadcaster.
He did all right. He did good.
Could be a great coordinator. Like I've said a couple of different times, I think that all head coaches can be coordinators, but not all coordinators can be head coaches. Yeah. that is Jason Garrett to an absolute T.
100%. I think, got to hire. By the way, Giants just hired John Harbaugh.
Good
And
coach. Really
to
good coach.
me, I don't know if I'm going to be scared about it. I don't know
Yeah.
if I'm going to be worried about it.
Yeah.
But I am a little concerned
Yeah.
because he's not just some,
Yeah.
Joe Blow head coach. He's won the Super Bowl.
But
I mean,
the boots are not shaking. The boots aren't shaking right now.
Boots aren't like shaking, but I'm just saying I think he can get the Giants in a good place to where Cowboys got to consider playing against the Giants now. Because, I mean, they still lost to him in the last week. However, it wasn't really a full-strength game. Didn't really matter.
Right.
Whatever. But still, when you get a coach like that who's got a proven track record,
Yes.
you got to start worrying because maybe he gets them in a good spot, in a right spot. But here's the thing. Not worried about other teams. You got to hire these coaches that come out on the market that are proven coaches, proven track record. They know what they're doing.
Yeah.
That's just simple. You got to get a true head coach. Nothing against Brian. He did fine in his first year. He did pretty good. Does he have a proven track record? Not really. I want a head coach that knows what he's doing. Maybe get a guy that's, thriving at the college level, right? And then he's ready for his big NFL break. Who is that? I don't know. We'll see.
I think I might have an idea, but we can get to that. We can put a pin to that.
Who you got? No, you got it. Who you got?
I mean, who's to say that the Indiana Hoosiers are really here to stay after a potential national championship this next Monday? I mean, look, we know Mendoza's moving on.
We'll talk about that in a second.
I like it for sure. I'm just saying, like, it could be that's something that I've at least heard people talk about, like potentially. Yeah. Again, I don't think any of that's going to happen, especially if they do win this championship. But it's always fun to at least look at what that could potentially be. I've heard the Marcus Freemans of the world. I've heard Kirk Cignetti. I've heard a plethora of guys who've been at least having 1% of he might be at the very least a coordinator at the next level, and then maybe be a head coach.
That's where I think we go. Will it happen anytime soon? Probably not.
Yeah.
So I mean, but I'm fixing the Cowboys. Right?
I like it. Yes,
we got to hire
this is true. Yes.
A college coach that I think is thriving right now and bring him up to the NFL. Don't know who that would be. There's plenty of names to throw out there. That's where you got to start.
Okay.
Our offense, I will give it to Jerry. Great spot. Our offense looked great this year. Yeah. And they did what any offense would do and just, have some bad games or have some bad drives. That happens. But they put up a lot of points. They put up a ton of points.
Yeah.
Defense, even though just like 2-3 years ago was awesome, this year it was terrible. And, I mean, does that have to do with losing Micah Parsons? Yeah, definitely, 100%. Does it have to do with Diggs not being what Diggs used to be? 100%. Does it have to do with Deron Bland being hurt for most of the year after we paid him 4 years, 80, 90 million, whatever it was? Yes. Yes, it does.
Here's, I'll briefly interject here.
Yeah.
Deron Bland, solid player, coming off of a record year last year.
Wasn't going to replicate it.
Not even a quarter of the production. That's just the same. That comes with it.
It's the same thing with Diggs.
Yeah.
Diggs got interceptions because they constantly threw his way. Why did they constantly throw his way?
Liability.
Because on that other end, on the other plays that you're not talking about, he's getting burnt for a touchdown, and that's why he's getting 10 interceptions sometimes because they're just trying whatever. Oh, let's see what happens.
Yeah.
And he picked it off 10 times that year. Same thing with Deron Bland. I wouldn't say he was better. I would say he had a good year and he had all those touchdowns, but it just was not going to be repeated.
Yeah, and
paid him too much money. And the thing is, I mean, just looking at our defense, I'm like, I mean, week, like I said, 12th and 20th pick. Just throw a dart at a board for defensive position. Other than Oso Odighizuwa, that guy's been solid.
Great player.
He's great.
Great player.
We got Quinnen Williams.
Yes.
Which, okay, great.
So
now,
I'm very surprised by that trade as well at the deadline this year.
Very much so, and I was actually surprised. Yeah. I was kind of happy. I mean, that's a solid player. That's a great defensive tackle. Now, throw a dart at a board for an edge rusher, for a corner, for a safety, for a linebacker. The rest of the defense, that's great. Like our defensive tackles, awesome. Run stuffers.
Yeah.
Not going up the middle, awesome.
Yeah.
Now, out on the edge and everywhere else on the field, Let's fix that.
Yeah.
Where are we going? What are we doing? Here's some of the names. Let's see. Mansour Delane at LSU.
Yes.
I believe that's how you say
Yes.
his name. Sometimes I'm bad with names. Caleb Downs, obviously.
Yeah.
Ohio State, safety. Reuben Bain Jr.
I like that.
Oh, my goodness.
I like that a lot.
That Miami defense, which, again, we're going to talk about later in a second. Defense been great all playoffs. I mean, like you talk about suffocating 100% in the playoffs. I saw where Keldrick Falk goes to the Cowboys at some point, and that's a few of the names thrown out there.
I like that a lot. Now I don't know. I haven't seen too many mock drafts as of recent, but I have seen a couple of guys declare themselves for the draft.
Mm-hmm.
If there's a way, and I just don't know how high a Cassius Howell might be. You know, I'm a huge A&M guy, very much biased to the Aggies, and especially how well that defense, what the defensive line was, to be specific. While they weren't the greatest of run defenses, pass defensively, they were one of the very best when it came to pass rushes, third down efficiency. The list goes on and on. So to really have, regardless of it, to really have somebody who has that type of nasty streak, to have that type of motor as well. I waxed so poetic about Tyler Booker after he got drafted. Yeah. If you have something even close to that soundbite, but on the defensive side of things,
oh my gosh,
that will speak.
Just want to hurt people.
100%. Take the joy of the game away from your opponent. You need that. And you need somebody to further bolster that line.
Wake up and dread wanting to play the game of football. Even though they made it to the NFL, make them dread it.
Yes.
No matter how much they're paid, please, we need a player like that.
So, I do like that map. I know we can get into a lot more of, free agent things and truly look at what the cap situation is and all that here later on. But I think defensively, that has been truly the one thing that I've seen be against the Cowboys for as long as I've been alive. Even with how topsy-turvy Tony Romo was, you still had, at worst, a top half good offense. You still had a really solid Tony Romo. Dez Bryant was one of the top 3 to 5 best receivers that you had at that time. DeMarco Murray had great runs. Jason Witten was a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
You had everything in your disposal.
Yeah.
But if your name wasn't Leighton Vander Esch, or if your name wasn't Sean Lee, or even the older DeMarcus Ware, respectfully, you're getting cooked more times than not. I don't remember the last. I don't remember the last truly all-pro to borderline elite Cowboys DB. I don't remember who that was because Stephon Gilmore, he was older whenever he was there. Yeah. Like the Trayvon Diggs was never really that great in my opinion.
Had one good year, and even during that year, it was.
I barely spoke as just a person, as a human when Deion Sanders was there. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
I was gonna say I didn't really watch Deion play, so maybe like as a baby, I don't know, but like that's.
but I do hope that, especially with who the next DC is going to be, because that's something that we didn't speak a whole lot about. Matt Eberflus getting the boot just after, I believe, 2 years, if that.
I'd have just been one.
No, it was 1 year because it was Mike Zimmer who was there the year prior to that. Best of luck. All in all, best of luck. You're still going to have your chances to win the division, still get a playoff spot, maybe even host a playoff game. That has been my only critique about this team for as long as I've been alive. You can put up 50 a night. You can have elite defenses. When the turn of the new year comes, and all of a sudden Aaron Jones runs for 200 yards, and all of a sudden we have Ezekiel Elliott line up as a center, all logic is thrown out the window when it comes to Cowboys football in the new year.
Bottom line, what you said, Alan. Good luck. That's the best way to put it. Good luck, because I mean, our offense is great, but we gotta. I mean, George Pickens, are we gonna pay him? Are we gonna get him back? Javonte Williams, he got hurt, but oh well, he still had a great year. We're gonna get him back. It's kind of like there's just so many things where you can be like, what are we doing? What are we gonna do? We got CeeDee Lamb, we got Dak Prescott. We're gonna keep George Pickens. We're gonna keep Javonte Williams. Is our offensive line gonna stay steady? I mean, Ferguson, we got him. Like, are we good? Yeah. Like, I mean, it's just here's the thing: you can try to map out the Cowboys, but Jerry Jones at the helm, I don't know if they'll be mapped out.
Nothing's guaranteed
anytime soon. I've said this as a joke. I'm willing to bet on odds of will the Cowboys win the Super Bowl in my lifetime? I'm willing to bet no, and cash out the winnings and give it to my family and just like let them live on the riches that bet produces.
That's fair.
So
that's fair.
I'm 28 years old, and I mean, I God willing, I have, and like I'm 85, 90 when I pass away. Will the Cowboys win the Super Bowl? Maybe that's dramatic. I don't think it's dramatic. Now,
crazy.
Jerry's, I mean, you know, like I said, Father Time's catching up to Jerry, but then we get Stephen Jones. So
we'll see.
Yeah,
we will see how it goes.
That sigh is perfect. That's what I do as a Cowboys fan every Sunday, Monday, whenever they play. So, but anyway, so we tried to map that one out. We have an idea. I don't think they have an idea. So, but we did our best. Right?
We did our best. It truly a perfect first Map It Out segment here for the Map It Out podcast. Again, this will be a recurring thing that we'll have certain prompts, questions as far as how we can further put things in the right direction in the world of sports.
We'll get into the portal at some point. We'll get into seedings for playoffs, for NFL playoffs, and for CFP as well. What the CFP sets up. We'll get into that at some point. But we're gonna take a break for now. When we come back, we've got odds in the divisional games. We got the CFP. We got to talk about the CFP still. We didn't talk enough about college football. We got to talk about that. And then we got a silly little topic for you. You'll find out next, but stick around. This is Map It Out. All right, welcome back to Map It Out. We've talked a lot. We've talked national. We've talked local. But now we got to get into some picks.
Yes.
Some odds.
This is my favorite part right here, baby.
Yeah, man. Let's do it. Let's start with the national championship game. Obviously,
Yes.
I mean that's. What a college football playoff it's been. Unbelievable. Really, just the entire CFP has been pretty fun. I mean, other than us, local people that were rooting for Tech and did not see a great result. But it's still been fun.
Yeah.
We're talking Natty. If you would have told me these two teams would have been in the national championship at the beginning of the season, I would have told you you're crazy. Indiana,
100%.
which they're playing great, 100%. But Miami, even at the beginning of the CFP or like after the A&M game, if you told me they'd be in the national championship, like, yeah, you're crazy, dude.
Yeah.
I just, it's been fun, and Miami's had a great run.
Yeah.
And Indiana's playing like the number one team in the country. I will say this. The thing about Miami, the college football playoff committee hit on Miami.
Yes, they
100%.
did.
You can say whatever you want about it. You can whine about it. Whatever you want to do, whether you think they should have got in or not, they hit on Miami, and they've proved that they belong there 100%. And I'm trying to think of the teams that were on the bubble. Notre Dame, BYU.
Texas was in there as
Texas, Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
Would any of those teams been able to do what Miami's done? My answer would be probably not BYU.
No.
Probably not Vanderbilt, because Vanderbilt ended up losing their bowl game.
Yeah.
Texas, probably not. I mean, Texas was coming on. They played A&M really well, and they beat them. So maybe Texas, and then I would say maybe Notre Dame. But that's maybes. Yeah. What Miami has done, absolutely incredible. Hats off to them, regardless of the result in the national championship game. What a run it's been for Miami.
It really has been. I mean, I'm very much an ACC basketball fan. I, with every bit of respect, up until this point, could not have cared less about not just one ACC football team being a game away from winning a national championship, but multiple ACC teams that are like truly, improving, getting better. Some of those being new acquisitions. I'm curious about what SMU is going to do moving forward. Miami, you certainly have the pieces in place to have this be more than just a one-year type of thing. I mean, if Notre Dame were to have been in a conference, I think it's either Big Ten or ACC. It makes sense, but for the past couple of years of ACC football being more so defined by Clemson's success, the one Lamar Jackson year with Louisville, now with where we are with Miami. I mean, it goes into great coaching from Mario Cristobal. I'm somebody who thought not highly of Carson Beck by any stretch.
I honestly agree with you on that.
And I will be completely honest and transparent, still have my fair share of sour grapes because of that first round matchup against the A&M Aggies again. A&M guy through and through. Loved
There you
what
go.
Marcel Reed was able to
There you
do
go.
up until it was just absolutely unwatchable to see that offense out there. No, I mean, in all seriousness, I think Miami was a really, really great team. And for ACC non-believers like myself, I will certainly refrain from, at least as much as I've talked against the ACC conference, I'll give them that, should they win it here on Monday, I'll like, you know what? Props to them. They have the national champion. I got to shut up for a bit because, as by default SEC fan, it's been over 1,000 days.
Yeah.
And with how Georgia dropped the ball, with how Ole Miss eventually dropped the ball, we're sitting here just like, well, Vanderbilt basketball is all right, I guess. Like there's nothing to really cling on to if you're an SEC fan, just outright. So I mean, props to what the Hurricanes were able to do. I mean, and truly, if you think about it, when it comes to top college football programs, when you look at all the grandeur that comes with not just college football games but postseason games, so on and so forth, seeing Michael Irvin just be Michael Irvin out there. Like just to see the
Dude's just
returners
in the coaching box, and he's just like, "Come on, let's go!"
he
hyping
is
him up.
absolutely. He
Like,
doesn't
let me call
need the
a
money.
play. Let me.
He doesn't need the extra money, but he's basically been a part of this coaching staff every step of the way from October to where we are now.
Yep.
Seeing Ray Lewis out there, like the list goes on and on from basically the last 10 to 20 years of football Hall of Famers.
Yep.
A good chunk of those came from the University of Miami. So to see all those guys there, I mean, you have all the tangible and intangible pieces to really make a championship run. On the flip side of that, there's one team left that is undefeated, and that is the Indiana Hoosiers.
Yep.
Kirk Cignetti is the coach of the year, full stop. Fernando Mendoza, since the playoffs, has certainly played like the Heisman Trophy winner.
Heisman Mendoza.
Yes, he did. Yes, 100%, 100,000%, especially with how Diego Pavia was able to drop the ball the way that he did. From that ceremony to the bowl game, they picked the right guy. Let's just say that for sure. So I'm excited to see this matchup.
Yeah.
Two really, like you said, two unexpected teams that just lit the college world on fire.
Yeah.
If you're a Notre Dame fan, I can understand even still some of the, well, we could have done X, Y, Z, but you know, you lost the head-to-head.
They were beating teams, pretty bad.
Yeah.
And could have got in, but still,
but my thing is,
happen. Yeah.
to the take that I had getting into this game, and looking at the odds here, I believe you had Indiana minus 8.5 from what I had seen here.
Right now.
Obviously, someone has to win, someone has to lose, but the biggest winner of not just this national championship game, but the biggest winner of the college football playoff, I will stand on retired head coach Nick Saban. To say that the Saban tree has been growing its roots, it's been growing its branches by the game, by the snap almost. Of course, those not knowing, former assistant for Kirk Cignetti was, former assistant for Mario Cristobal. Dan Lanning was in the mix as well. Lane Kiffin, self-explanatory, but obviously he wasn't coaching throughout the postseason for Ole Miss. The list goes on and on of all of the Saban descendants here. And one could also say, Kirby Smart obviously as well, the coaching, at least the intensity of it, that's been the thing that's been across the board of there. This is almost near Saban level of attention to detail, a Saban level of intensity, and also be able to care for your guys and care for your players. Again, Nick Saban is going to be nowhere near this championship game outside of being a part of the game day crew. But if I'm Nick Saban, much like if I was a Greg Popovich, I'm sitting back like, hey, there is without a shadow of a doubt, I am one of the three greatest football coaches in the past 50 years.
Sure.
Probably the greatest college coach of all time. But if you're just going across the board when it comes just to the sport of football, Nick Saban has put together one of the greatest runs of dominance, and that's further led into his assistants, being some of the best that we've seen in the college landscape.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's amazing to see.
Yeah, Nick Saban, no doubt about it, one of the best college coaches of all time. Tried it in the NFL for a little bit, didn't work out.
Absolutely
but came
terrible.
back to the college level. He had the college mind. He had the college coaching down.
And one of the greatest examples, honestly, of knowing your space.
Yes.
Being aware of your limitations, being aware of your strengths, and like he played into that better than anybody, arguably in sports, when it comes to being a coach. So props to Nick Saban. He's gonna have a win regardless of what happens on Monday night.
100%, no doubt about it.
Now, when it comes to the actual game itself, though,
yes.
How are you feeling?
So, I mean, looking at the odds, obviously that's very respectable odds. I would maybe even bump it to 9 or 10, maybe.
Okay.
So obviously, I'm basically telling you that I think I'd go -8.5.
Okay.
Indiana. Okay. Just because the thing is, Miami's had a great run. They've played so good, but I just think it ends right here because Indiana has been absolutely incredible. And I mean, you know, you can talk about maybe Bama wasn't that good. You can talk about maybe Oregon wasn't that good. Oregon shut out a good Texas Tech team. Their offense was questionable. I will give people that. But they still got it done, still shut them out, still found a way to score points, even though the defense was playing really good that day. And then, I mean, them doing what they did to Oregon, Indiana, was just, I mean, you thought it would have been closer than that. And Indiana ended as like -3 favorite, and they smoked them.
You know what that game reminded me of?
What?
National championship game, LSU versus Clemson.
Oh,
the way that game was over before halftime, it even really that entire the LSU
one of
run.
the best college seasons of all time. I mean, for LSU and Joe Burrow as an individual player put together one of the best probably the best college season of all time.
Absolutely.
And that it was over. Even though Clemson was really good,
yeah,
LSU is just much better.
Absolutely.
And that's like you said, against Oregon, I think that was the case. Could be the case against Miami too. We could see another national championship blowout. Who knows?
It was funny. I was out at kind of bringing back to the high school of it all. I was out at the PD and Monterey game this past Friday.
Yeah.
Like I'm on the call. I'm talking with Phil Wardle, my broadcast partner. Shout out to him. And we're talking about a little bit about it during the half. And I'm looking at my phone. My eyes is like wider than this. I'm like, what do you mean Indiana's up by 24? And there's an entire fourth quarter that needs to go on. Like, Dante Moore has done next to nothing right now. Like,
still made some good plays at the end there, but like it didn't mean anything.
I was absolutely floored. That gave me every bit of the past Super Bowl with the Chiefs and the Eagles. That gave me every bit of the semifinal between LSU and Oklahoma, where that game was over before halftime even started. That championship run with them and Clemson. Like, this is a team. And also, outside of Fernando Mendoza, I can't tell you another guy who I can just recognize off the top of my head. Like, I know a lot of those guys will get looks at the next level, and I'm sure will have tremendous careers at the next level.
Yeah.
But this is almost giving a team that you have really just a well-oiled machine from the very top to the bottom. You don't have these stars that have the star personalities or anything like that. This is the true embodiment of a hard-nosed team.
Actual
offense, defense, special teams, coaching staff, everything in between. Off of that alone, I understand having Indiana being the favorites. You certainly have that edge.
Yep.
Miami, while Carson Beck is one of the more recognized guys, I don't consider him to be an actual star for real. Not to say that he is bad, but almost to a similar vein, but Miami still being Miami.
He's looked comfortable in these games.
He has.
Against the competition that he's beat. He's looked pretty comfortable.
And that's where I think the main question will be when it comes to this game, similar to on the pro sides of things, what's going to happen whenever Bo Nix is under pressure? What's going to happen when C.J. Stroud is under pressure?
Yep.
We know what Carson Beck is when he is under pressure. The fact that they still beat A&M, the fact that they still got to this spot with where we are right now, with there being plenty of moments where Carson Beck has been under pressure, speaks to the growth. But just because you've done it a couple of times doesn't mean that you fully exercise those demons. So both teams have really solid defenses and specifically really solid pass rushes. Who gets folded first? That is going to be the question for me. But off of right now, and considering that this is being recorded, this is on wax, you need to come up with an actual definitive pick.
Got you right here.
I get it. I'm not going to say that I reserve the right to change from now until Monday, but I will say right now at this very moment, and I think this will be my thing going forward, going into next Monday, I will say Miami's going to cover. Indiana will still hoist up that championship. But who's to say that this game isn't decided by a field goal? Who's to say that this isn't a 7-point game or a
Yep.
6-point game. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I will be shocked if Indiana puts hands and feet on this Miami team.
Sure.
But
And I can agree with that, yeah.
but I will also say I was also floored whenever they did that just this past Friday against the Oregon Ducks. So
That's what I'm saying.
everything is on the table for Indiana to absolutely smoke Miami. I'm gonna say it's not gonna happen. Miami's going to cover, but Indiana will still win.
And to be completely honest with you, before we move on, the Miami defense just named a couple of their players going into the draft.
Yeah.
They have looked great,
Yeah.
and I mean they've looked good. They've applied pressure.
Yeah.
They've made big plays when they needed to, and they've looked good, 100%. And so I get that, and I think Miami has a chance to make it at least interesting, make it a game, make it something special.
Definitely.
However, the way Indiana is playing at this moment, and what they did to Oregon, and what they did to Bama, I think. I mean, I just it's hard for me not to go with Indiana. I mean, like, and you and I both agree that Indiana will probably win the game.
Yeah.
I think cover is very possible at 8.5 too. Like I said, I could probably put it at 9 or 10 if you wanted to.
Yeah.
So I just think Indiana most likely, I think, has it. I mean, they're playing too good. Miami's playing great. Don't get me wrong. And like I said, regardless of what happens, the CFP committee hit hard on Miami, but Indiana at the end of the day.
And I'm gonna preview it now as far as next week's episode of Map It Out. Should Indiana win this national championship game, I will be ready to come up here and say that Indiana put together one of the greatest seasons in college football history.
And me and Corin have talked about it too. We're
Yes.
saying, LSU, very, very, very similar season to LSU, what Indiana's doing right now. And it's not going to be talked about because it's maybe not as glamorous or it's not the LSU Tigers.
That's the thing. That's going to be that edge. Justin Jefferson not walking through that door. I can't tell you any real, I'm sure there will be guys that again, will have tremendous careers at the next level.
Sure.
I don't think those guys are Jamar Chase.
No.
I don't know if those guys are even Thaddeus Moss.
Joe Burrow.
I don't know. But for them to still beat the absolute brakes off of these opponents, it has to chalk up to something.
There, yeah. Somebody's got to come out of this.
I will say
player.
that Kirk Cinetti will be hands down the best coach in all of college football. Should he capitalize on this and win the national championship, Indiana is very much in the mix of being those powerhouses.
Is he staying with Indiana? Let's talk about that next week as well.
Let's talk about that next week because I saw
cliffhanger. We got a lot of cliffhangers. We're gonna have a lot of those.
Yes, I definitely saw
with
something.
Indiana?
I saw a spot. I'm not the biggest fan of that spot, but the logic behind it, all I'll say is that the logic makes sense. I don't think it's going to happen, but the logic makes sense.
Okay. And like I said, and talk about Corin, she's an LSU fan, and she's agreeing with me saying that Indiana's putting together a similar LSU season.
Shout out to Corin Davis.
Maybe not as good, but
yes.
I mean, definitely similar.
Oh, yes.
Shout out Corin. She's awesome. We're gonna have a little own show together in the studio as well.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
So we'll be good. But no, this is great.
Yeah.
Let's move on to the divisional odds now. Let's see what we got here. I mean, more great games, obviously. Let's start with I told you I had a funny story. So let's start with the Broncos versus the Bills. They've got the Broncos at -1.5. You're basically picking who's gonna win the game with that spread right there. So last night, I'm scrolling on X and I see this Broncos fan account. Whatever it is, I forget what the name is, but I see him. He had to scroll deep. I mean, I think it was 2016. It's on Haley Steinfeld's page, and there's a picture of her dabbing.
I saw this.
At a Broncos game.
I saw it.
And she's saying, obviously, she's a Broncos fan.
Yeah.
Back in 2016. But we're trolling now because, hey, she rooting for the Broncos or is she rooting for her husband who they got a kid on
yes,
the way.
They do. Congratulations.
So, yeah, congrats.
Very much.
But, yeah, are we are we rooting for the Broncos or are we rooting for the Bills, Haley? What do we got? So that was funny that guy found it. Shout out.
I like that. I like that.
Definitely going to have to put this online for sure. Definitely have to put this on social media. But, not the reason I'm going to pick the Broncos. I am picking the Broncos.
Okay.
Playing in Denver.
Yeah.
Weather's kind of mild, I think, is what I saw, like
Yeah.
55, 60 degrees, so the weather won't really be a
Yeah.
problem. They both play in cold weather
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah.
But that defense, we're talking about suffocating defenses, and we talked about the Texans. Broncos have had a similar track, probably even better.
Yeah.
One of the best defenses in the NFL.
Yeah.
Bills offense, I've seen a little bit of shakiness out of them lately. You're not going to get away with that against the Broncos. I'm going to take the Broncos for sure.
And specifically with the issues with the Bills' defense, the Bills' run defense has not been great. So I think this could be a game where you start to see a lot more of the R.J. Harveys of it all. You're able to see a lot more of that run game really take shape a bit more, which again opens up for Bo Nix. Bo Nix is a great athlete as well. He can make reads. Cortland Sutton, great receiver. I'm curious as to what that matchup is going to be with Buffalo's secondary as well. But similar thing, postseason football, more times than not, the better quarterback who has the ball should be able to make the plays, should be able to make the reads. I think is going to be Josh Allen and the Bills. I think not only Josh Allen and the Bills, but even just the two-man game of Josh Allen and James Cook. Broncos have an amazing defense, but I think this will be one of, if not the closest game of the divisional round weekend.
Yep.
But I think in favor of the Bills.
Yep. All right. Yeah, I'll take it. I like it. I think, like you said, it should be a good game. Now, Seahawks and Niners. We saw this matchup about, 2-3 weeks ago?
Yeah.
To end the season, I believe, or in the regular season, playing for that 1 seed. And the Seahawks came out on top. And, I get it. It's -7 Seahawks. I believe they can cover that or at least push that.
Yeah.
Just because the Seahawks are playing great football right now, defense and offense. Sam Darnold's doing what he needs to do, and like we said, we mentioned JSN a little earlier in this podcast. He's just a phenomenal year. I'm gonna go with the Seahawks. I mean, the 49ers put it all out on the field against Philadelphia and did what they had to do. I think the Seahawks are going to get another win in this one, and they can at least push that -7. And I'm going to go. I mean, the Seahawks will win. I'll take the -7 on the Seahawks as well.
See, I will say Seahawks will win the game. Give me San Fran to cover.
Okay.
I think the George Kittle injury will be a little too much to truly come out with the win, even though, of course, obviously they're able to get it done with a great Christian McCaffrey game. The Seahawks defense, not the Eagles defense by any stretch. No disrespect to Philly, but as a Baltimore Ravens fan and seeing Mike McDonald, former DC for the Ravens, now be the head man for Seattle, for them to make the waves that they've been able to make, despite who I believe. Look, Sam Darnold is still Sam Darnold to me.
Yeah.
Like he's not elite. He's not an MVP caliber quarterback. He's certainly been. He has made leaps and bounds of strides over the past 4 years now. With any form of real pressure coming in, I think mistakes will come up, but just not enough to truly sell the game because, again, the lack of personnel that's there. Like you said it perfectly. They had all of the bullets in the chamber for that Philly game. That was one of the bigger takeaways just from overall news and conversation discourse standpoint. I think that energy or the lack thereof will show itself. And I think we'll see Seattle in the NFC Championship game. Close game.
Yeah.
Again, I will think that San Fran will cover because I do think out of the two quarterbacks, I would rather have Brock Purdy. But with everything else that's around them, I think it would just be too much for San Fran to overcome.
Yeah, Seattle's going to get another win against the Niners. Moving on now, Patriots versus Texans. This one's interesting to me. With the way that Texans defense is playing, I have a hard time, -3. I'm just gonna say I'll take +3 on the Texans. Like they'll cover. I think the Texans are playing. If the offense plays better than they typically do, who knows? And this defense is going to suffocate rookie quarterback Drake May, and he's gonna play a truly good defense in playoff football. And I mean, who knows what we're going to see on our screen in that game? I'll take +3. Who's going to win? Whew. You know what? Give me the Texans. I'm as a Texas guy who's mad that the Cowboys aren't in the playoffs, but the Texans are doing pretty good. I'm going to go with the Texans, win the game and cover. Obviously, cover.
I've made a lot of jokes of the Houston Texans being the best team in the state of Texas when it comes to pro football. In some instances, it's been valid. I will say, despite how the Cowboys season ended, I think a couple of correctable things, and it would have been firmly in the Cowboys' favor versus the Texans. I'll be honest, I just don't believe in the Patriots. I really don't. I think I'm one of those guys who kind of look at it as, for lack of a better way of saying it, I think that this could be a bit more of a one-year thing versus something that's here to stay. I think Drake May is here to stay.
Yeah.
But that team, that personnel, the things that are in their favor, Christian Gonzalez is one of my favorite defensive players, but you can only do but so much. I look at Christian Gonzalez the way that I look at Kyle Hamilton for the Ravens. You're an amazing player. You're one of the best of your position. You can't play the other 10, though, on that defense. And while New England has a solid defense, I think I'll give the edge to Houston as far as defensive personnel versus defensive personnel. And when it comes to guys getting folded, again, we've seen CJ get folded. We've also seen CJ thrive in the playoffs.
Yep.
We haven't seen that with Drake May just yet. Mm-hmm. And I also have a thing about North Carolina quarterbacks. Like, he has firmly been the best North Carolina quarterback that I've ever seen. Mm-hmm. But your competition is also Mitchell Trubisky. Yeah. So, just for context, give me. I'll say the Texans over the Bats will be the upset of the weekend.
All right, I like it. Then we got Rams and Bears. I'm looking forward to that one as well.
Ooh.
This game could be really, really fun.
Yeah.
Really great. I think, looking at the other matchups, like obviously Broncos and Bills will be fun. Texans and Pats should be fun. Who knows what we'll get out of the Hawks and the Niners. But Rams and Bears, man, it's after everything that took place with the Rams, coming close with the Panthers and the Bears coming off the win they just came off. It's just like, oh, man. 3.5 Rams. I'm going to have to go mainly just solely off the experience. I just hyped up Bears fans, but I'm just gonna have to go with the Rams, because I think they cover, and obviously they win. I just think the experience is there. Matthew Stafford, getting past the Panthers the way he did, and leading them on that game-winning drive. He's gonna do something similar, most likely, and I think the Rams are able to get that win and move on.
Props to the Bears. Props to Caleb Williams, Ben Johnson. Tremendous season. I will say not only will the Rams cover, I think this will be the most lopsided game.
Think so?
Of this entire weekend. Okay. Just off of the Bears defense has been solid. We also played against non-Toyota-thon Jordan Love Packers because Jordan Love just apparently comes alive whenever it's the holiday season, and you have discounts on Toyota cars, I suppose.
Yep.
But completely different situation than probably the best quarterback, receiver 1 and 2 trio that we have, not just left in the playoffs, but in the entire league. You can't think of a better trio than Stafford, Devontae Adams, and Puka Nacua.
Yeah.
I say the Rams put up at least 28 on the Bears. I can easily see a 28-14, 28 to maybe even 7 type of situation. Even with how they weren't able to really come together with consistent drives last week against Green Bay. Again, I just don't know if you have a clear jump in offensive personnel and talent. I don't know if Caleb Williams will have that much left to truly overcome it. He has the skill set for it, but I don't think it's going to come to fruition.
All right. So we got, like we said, I've got Indiana. You got Indiana, but Miami covering.
Yes.
And then you're taking Bills. I'm taking Broncos.
Yes.
We're both taking Seahawks, but you're saying Niners cover.
Niners cover, yes.
We're taking Texans, I believe.
Texans over Pats, yes.
Okay. And then we're both taking the Rams cover and win, obviously.
Yeah.
There you go.
I like it.
It's going to be an exciting national championship and then an exciting divisional weekend as well. I cannot wait. Moving on now, let's go to I got a few fantasy basketball pickups this week. Trey Johnson for the Wizards. Been having a great rookie year this year. They just got Trae Young in that trade, but I don't think that's really going to affect him. He'll come off the bench and still get a good amount of minutes and score quite a bit. He's scored the ball very well so far as a rookie. He's available. I usually check Yahoo. That's where my basketball leagues are, so he's available in 13% of Yahoo leagues. Then we got Jalen Smith, power forward and center for the Bulls. His kind of position is interesting right now. He could be the starter eventually with Vucevic. Maybe he's always been on the trade block, but they haven't been able to trade him. He could be getting traded, but he comes off the bench and still puts together quite a good amount of stats. He could be a double guy. Guy I picked up last night, Jock Landale. Zach Edey.
Landale, yes.
Zach Edey is out for another 6 weeks. So if you're needing a center, and I mean the center position is always pretty questionable in fantasy basketball anyway. It's kind of like tight end. It's kind of like second base in baseball and all that. So he's available in 10% of Yahoo leagues. He's going to be the starter for another 6 weeks, and I mean he's off and on, but he definitely will get his minutes, and he's worth rostering. I think if you're needing a guy at the center position. Deeper leagues and maybe dynasty leagues, guys, when you definitely have deeper leagues and dynasty leagues too. Jarace Walker for the Pacers, I think he's a guy you got to look at down the stretch. 3% of Yahoo leagues. They took him in the draft in the first round. He's going to be a guy that probably gets a lot of run late in the season. He's probably going to be a silly season guy when the Pacers mostly shut everybody down who's main starters and big deal players, and they're definitely playing for the lottery this year. They had a rough start, and it's pretty much continued that way. So he's probably going to be a guy as a rookie that plays a lot late in the season. This guy's more of a kind of maybe a short-term ad, Jalen Pickett, while everybody's hurt for the Nuggets. I mean, mainly Jokic, obviously, since he's a lot of their offense and a lot of their usage.
100%.
4% on Yahoo leagues, and he's been putting up some good numbers while Jokic has been hurt, and also Murray gets kind of hurt. He sits out games sometimes, and he's one of those lingering injury guys. Sometimes he's game time decisions.
Once you win a championship, you're given a little bit more leeway as far as the little management of it all.
Getting a rest, load management and everything. So it kind of makes sense, and he does a pretty good job. Then finally, Yves Missy. He had a pretty good game last night. Actually, I believe in points leagues, he got maybe somewhere from 30 to like 38 points or something. I
believe
like that.
So. Yes.
And he had a solid night last night. He's playing for the Pelicans right now. He's a good solid center. Believe he gets forward starts every now and then or plays power forward. But
somebody got to do it. You have an entire number one overall pick. Look, man. I could spend at least another 30 minutes.
Was going to be LeBron, right?
Yes. I could, the frustration seeing Zion Williamson. Yeah.
You know what we're talking
about. Yeah. Look, Google's free as far as the things that have been against Zion Williamson over the past couple of years. But all we will say is that, boy, I am unfortunately incredibly disappointed.
Sometimes he's been in his own way.
Oh, literally.
Or maybe most of the time.
Man, that could not be more true. That could not be more real.
You're right. Somebody's got to do it right. And he's actually a pretty good player. If they can just consistently give him minutes, he does all right. So
they're in a weird spot where they're really trying to figure out what they want to do with that organization moving forward. And definitely. I think Yves Missy is definitely one of those pieces that could be one of those foundational young guys moving forward, could also potentially be packaged with a Zion Williamson to really bring in a haul and see what you can do moving forward over the next couple of years. But right now, they're in that weird purgatory spot, especially being in division with the Spurs, with the Rockets, with even the Grizzlies. They've had some off and on moments as well throughout the past couple of years, but very clear, far and away, the Pelicans bottom rung of that division as where we are right now.
They need help.
Yes.
All right. Now, here we go. Main event. Not really main event, but just such a funny topic. And we're going to try to do this every week where we come up with an interesting or just something funny to just kind of mess around with. Over the break, kind of over the New Year's and Christmas, everybody's taking time off. I remember seeing Jose Alvarado fight Mark Williams in a game. And it was just funny because one dude's 7 feet tall and the other dude's like 6'1", still tall.
6'1" might be a little nice.
Maybe
Jose
6
Alvarado.
feet or 5'11", whatever. Just two completely different sized dudes. Definitely a mismatch. I think Mark Williams probably wins that 9.5 times out of 10.
For sure.
So here's what we came up with. Who wins in a fight? NBA edition. We're going to start with the smaller guards. Here's what we got. Jalen Brunson, 6'2", 190 pounds, versus Damian Lillard, 6'2", 200 pounds. What do you got there?
I will say, looking at these full matchups here, with every form of respect to Jalen Brunson, I think this is the one matchup that is probably the more lopsided out of all
Really?
of these matchups.
Okay.
Damian Lillard is not only a scrapper, not only is he the true embodiment of grit and every bit of trying to play above your size, so on and so forth.
Okay.
We're talking about a true California kid. Like he
Okay.
if
All right.
anybody knows
Yep.
how to get down in the Bay Area, I've had people who I love so dearly from California, whether it's Southern California, I've had family up in Northern California, I've had family up there in the Bay.
Yep.
If you know, you know. Let's just put it like that. Give me Damian Lillard.
Fair enough. When you put it like that, okay, I can understand that.
And plus, Jalen Brunson's probably going to try and draw a foul, get to the free throw line. like he, incredibly talented
SGA,
player.
right? No.
Man, look, if we
And
look up,
that's my team. That's my Thunder right there. But I understand still.
if 18 of Jalen Brunson's 25 points comes to the free throw line, are we surprised? Truly, like, come on. I'm just saying.
All right. See, I think you might have convinced me because I was going to go, Jalen Brunson, clutch player of the year last year.
No,
going to find a way to get it done, right?
100%.
In a fight, does he do the same thing, or does he try to get fouled? Or,
I'll say this as well. I'll say this as well. The Bay in California, they know how to get down. We can't say that New York doesn't know how to get down either. Like New York Knicks fans, they're literally all over the world.
Yep.
They all have the same mindset.
Yep.
You talk sweet against my team, we will have problems, to say the least.
I will say you've convinced me. I'll go with Damian Lillard in that one, even though I thought Jalen Brunson could be, close with him. But Damian Lillard, I think, like you said, he scraps it out.
Hall of Famer, too, in his own right. Definitely Hall of Famer, top 75 player, everything in his favor. I'm with you.
Lillard's scrapping it out and getting the win there. All right, kind of bigger guard, Benedict Mathurin, 6'5", 210 pounds, versus Desmond Bane, 6'6", 215 pounds. Who you got?
Benedict Mathurin is a really, really great player to watch. I loved watching him play in college. Shout out to one of my best friends, Jake Bosen. He is one of the bigger Arizona basketball fans that I will ever meet in my entire life. And to say that he waxed poetic about Benedict Mathurin during that tournament run is putting it very lightly. I love you, Jake. Desmond Bane is built like a football player, however.
Yeah, he is.
I'm like, yes, he is 6'6".
Mathurin's a big dude, too. He
is
pretty built.
He absolutely is. Like, this is a toss-up. I will say Desmond Bane looks like a soon-to-be all-pro linebacker.
All right.
Who is ready, willing, and able to take your head off. Benedict Mathurin, he could very well be another Cam Chancellor type of dude as well. But I've seen Desmond Bane in that line of fire with guys, dare I say, twice his size almost. I saw him try to pick a fight with LeBron James, of all people. Not to say that Benedict Mathurin is a slouch or that he's chump.
No, yeah.
But I've seen Desmond Bane in that line of fire. He is one of TCU's finest. Let's just say that.
No doubt.
You know what I mean?
No
For
doubt.
sure.
No doubt. I got to go the same. Desmond Bane, I go in the Yahoo comments, and they his reach might give him a problem in this fight.
Yes,
I go to the Yahoo
that's
comments
the
in fantasy, and they say he's got T-Rex arms. I don't condone any of that talk. I've got him in redraft, and I got him in dynasty as well. Desmond Bane, he's my guy.
Solid production.
Great production. He's a scorer, and some nights he's going for a triple-double at the same time.
Oh, yes.
So I don't condone any of this T-Rex arm talk. The reach is fine. He's still going to find a way to power through and give Mathurin one to the jaw for sure.
I love
Desmond
it.
Bane wins
I love it.
All right, let's start with a small forward. I put Tony Allen in here, 6'4", 213 pounds, because I saw Tony Allen edit the other night, and it fired me up. A dude that doesn't care about the box score. He just cares about playing defense. He's tough. Jaylen Brown, 6'6", 223 pounds. That is his opponent. I got to say right away, I'm just going Tony Allen because that dude's a scrapper. You talk about scrappers. He's tough, and he's going to give you a two-piece to the jaw for sure.
Jaylen Brown, I will say, I think it's valid. Some of the MVP talks he's been getting.
Oh yeah, averaging nearly 30 points a game. He's been great. I mean, obviously they missed Jason Tatum. Yeah. But
I didn't think they would be top 3 in the East.
Haven't missed too much of him that much. It hasn't been that bad.
Not a significant drop off with where they are now.
Like you said, third in the East. And he might be coming back.
Yes,
he might be coming back.
Tony Allen, I think though, is, and you said it, and I think we might have seen the same edit there that you're referring to.
Yeah.
For guys like Kobe Bryant, for guys like Kevin Durant, for guys like LeBron James, to all have the same level of reverence
Opinion and yeah.
for somebody who is nowhere near the top 50 to 75 players who have ever played the game of basketball. Every team needs that one guy who cannot give a single hoot about the box score.
Yep.
The one thing that they do care about, though, the two things that they care about better yet, the plus minus, because it accounts all that you bring to the table, and with that level of production should be rather high as far as the plus minus goes.
Yep.
And obviously the wins and losses of it all.
Yep.
Tony Allen was the face of the grit and grind. Grizzlies don't let anybody tell you different about a Zach Randolph, about a Mike Conley, about a Marcus Sol. While they're all Hall of Famers, while they're all some of the best that Memphis will ever see in their organization, I don't think they would have had the level of success if not for number 9 defending Kevin Durant and really giving a young Kevin Durant every form of a fit. I was trying to make sense of a 7-foot Kevin Durant struggling against Tony Allen, but really looking at it, it's Tony Allen. Like he is that guy. Matter of fact, if Tony Allen was like he's 6'4", 213, if he was 4 inches taller, 4 or 5 inches taller, you know who he is? Kawhi Leonard.
Oh, all right.
Like
okay.
Like
maybe
that
not scoring, but
maybe not scoring wise, but he is firmly every bit of the best perimeter defender in all of basketball, and he was the best perimeter defender in all of basketball back at that time. So I would say Tony Allen.
There you go. I like it. Tough dude. Gave Steph fits. Gave KD fits. I mean, my goodness, and Kobe.
100%.
My goodness. So,
100%. That's not an easy thing.
Give me Tony Allen. 100%. All right. Bigger forward. Giannis Antetokounmpo, 6'11", 243 pounds versus Paolo Banchero, 6'10", 250 pounds. I got to say, here's the thing. Giannis would enter as the favorite.
Yeah.
But, man, Banchero, that dude is filled out. He's a big dude.
I love Paolo.
He's stacked for sure. He's I mean, I would be afraid of that guy.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think, everybody knows who Giannis is. And, I mean, people know who Paolo Banchero is, obviously. But, I mean, Giannis is a lot more in the news and everything. You see it. He's a superstar, all-NBA kind of guy. But he would enter as the favorite. But I'm willing to put underdog money on Paolo Banchero to pull out the upset in that one.
I love Paolo. I've loved watching him in college with Duke. And here's why I would say that Giannis will win this matchup. Paolo checks off all the tangible boxes. Mm-hmm. He checks off a chunk of the intangible boxes.
Yep.
But I literally saw him and his team crumble in literally the biggest moment in Duke basketball history. That Final Four game against North Carolina. As a Duke fan, as someone who respects Duke basketball, that was one of the worst nights that any Duke fan will ever feel in their entire lifetime. And you can go about that one of two ways. Again, I'm a man of a plethora of cliches. The true test of a man is what they do overcoming adversity.
Yep.
I don't think there's a player in basketball that has overcome more adversity than Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean, just from playing overseas to coming to the States to while you look the part height-wise, you were nowhere near as strong. You were nowhere near as polished. You were nowhere near the type of player that Giannis ended up becoming. Giannis will end up being a top 5 power forward to have ever played the game of basketball. Mm-hmm. I sure hope Paolo Banchero was in that mix. I would take Giannis Antetokounmpo with every form of respect, putting hands and feet on Paolo Banchero. I'll say that. I'll say that.
All right. I like it. Okay. Moving on to center. I think this is a pretty good one. Rudy Gobert, 7'1", 258 pounds, prime Rudy Gobert versus Jalen Duren, 6'10", 250. Here's the thing. You look at Duren, that dude, I mean, he's cut for sure, and he's a big dude as well.
Jalen Duren, fantasy manager.
There you go.
He
he
back
gets hurt
tonight.
Sometimes, but I mean, so does everybody else in the NBA, right?
Exactly. But you pair that up with a guy who, no hyperbole, spread COVID-19 in the NBA.
Rubbing the mic.
Like, dog.
Just like, I mean, here you go. Like,
I don't know what else to tell you outside of even his own peers saying, hey, we weren't really the biggest fan of dude to begin with, and then this happens. And here's what I'll say in favor of Rudy Gobert. With all the things of the slander against Rudy Gobert's name, if I'm Rudy Gobert, I need to have in like we've even seen it. Like Minnesota's played some good basketball as well this season. I think that he took every form of those critiques, every form of that slander and bad talk and all that. I think we're seeing one of the better versions of Rudy Gobert as just a full-on player throughout this season. Look, I love Jalen Duren, and I think strength-wise he has the edge over Rudy. I say just off of sheer, I gotta show him something to show the world that I'm not a chump. Give me Rudy. Give me Rudy off of sheer backs against the wall. The entire basketball world is saying, hey, those DPOYs are fraudulent. I'm going to take Rudy Gobert off of the sheer spite and proving his peers wrong. I think he's going to come in guns blazing, fists a-blazing against Jalen Duren.
Because he just doesn't care, right? He just doesn't care at all.
What does he have to lose?
COVID-19,
what does he have to lose? He lost the gold medal game with France this back 2 years ago now.
So he's upset.
He's been upset for at least a decade now. The Utah run did not go the way that he intended it. He didn't end the way that he intended it. Even back then, Shaq has called him a chump. Draymond Green has called him a chump. And those are just some of the more recognized names. I'm sure there are guys, even 15th men off the bench, that look at Rudy Gobert saying, hey, I don't think he should have the same amount of DPOIs as Dwight Howard and Ben Wallace. I don't think that should be the case, personally. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I would say give me Rudy in that matchup.
So yeah, you're saying he'll come out guns a-blazing. I'm saying Jalen Duren will come out controlled, and he's not gonna feed into what Rudy Gobert's trying to do.
I like that.
Jalen Duren's gonna give him a 2-piece too, so maybe a 4-piece.
Detroit's a good team as well because Cade's a great leader and they're able to turn it up.
Yeah,
but not to the point
of
Cade
back.
They do. I think he's going to be back later on tonight.
Still at the top though.
Yes,
still top of the East. Which is not saying much this year, but
but if Detroit wants to make anything shake in that Eastern Conference, you need to have Jalen Duren healthy.
Oh, absolutely. So yeah, I like it, man. I like it. What a fun topic.
This is good. I like this. I like this a lot.
That pretty much does it for our show. That's our first show. Can you believe it? That's amazing.
That was
great.
This is a lot of fun.
We might have to be a little more concise next week, but I mean we'll figure that out, man. We got so much to talk about. It's
been a while since we've been in this type of capacity.
Exactly.
Talking
I used to come on your
sports.
show all the time.
Yeah.
We've had a break from that.
Yeah.
But I mean we got to get it all out. There's so much to get out right now. So I mean, we got
and again
we got to talk about it
from the national sides of things. We know those are going to have talking points galore, but again, with what it is that we're doing, you and Corn have done an amazing job here with Sports of KMR. So the local scene is getting crazier and crazier. Man. I've said a little while ago with another interview to only be a speck in this whole thing and contribute the way that I have been. There's so many other ways I know that I'm capable of contributing. To be in this type of space, to have you guys have me out here in this type of space, I'm truly grateful for it, and
absolutely,
I'm very excited to see what's in store for Map It Out right here. You know what I mean?
Man,
I'm excited.
I can't wait. Yeah, it's gonna be great. We're gonna have plenty of shows. Try to do it weekly, maybe even 2 times a week. Who knows?
Yes.
If we got time, we can figure it out.
Oh yes.
But man, this has been fun. This is awesome. Good stuff. Good to see you as always.
Absolutely.
We'll do it again next week. Be sure to check in. Map It Out. You can find us on social media. Max Preston TV, Instagram, and X as well. What you got?
I am at AG Robertson_ on everything from X to Instagram. My Facebook is my full name, Alan Garrett Robertson. Yep. Be sure to give me a follow. And it's a lot of sports takes. It's a lot of music takes. It's just a lot of things as far as just my thought process and being in this type of space. So again, it helps to be around some great people like yourself, like Corn, like all the folks here in this broadcasting space. So again, I'm very, very excited to see what's next year, man.
Yeah, man, this is awesome. Can't wait to do it again.
We'll
do it again next week. A lot of games going on this
weekend. Lots of games.
We're going to see what happens. We can talk about UFC next week as well.
Yeah.
We're back next Saturday. Not this Saturday, next Saturday. Some good fights. Lots to talk about next week, and we'll get right into it for sure. This has been Map It Out. The first episode. We'll have the second episode next week. Can't wait for it. Thank you, Alan.
Thanks so much.